Myriad scientific studies have shown negative emotional, cognitive, behavioral, and health effects of chronic sleep restriction. Examples of emotional effects include negative mood and volatile emotions, volatile meaning quick to erupt. Cognitive effects include decreased response time and also decreased accuracy in cognitive tasks. So cognitive means thought, so deficits in thought tasks. Behavioral effects include decreased response time and accuracy in performance measures. And examples of health effects include decreased immune functioning and increased hunger. Increased hunger? Many people are surprised when they hear that chronic sleep restriction is associated with increased hunger and weight gain. But this is really important, especially considering the obesity rate in the United States. So let's take a moment here to explore this. To Harry and his colleagues, he's at the Wisconsin University Medical School, by the way, studied over 1,000 students. They found that chronic sleep restriction is associated with decreases in the hormone leptin, L-E-P-T-I-N, leptin. Leptin allows us to recognize when we are satiated, in other words, when we feel full. They also found that it's associated with increases in the hunger-producing hormone ghrelin, and that is spelled G-H-R-E-L-I-N, ghrelin, and associated with significant weight gain as measured using the body mass index, BMI, right? The most healthy BMIs were for those sleeping 7.7 to 8 hours average per night. And the increase in BMI for those sleeping less than that lines up like ducks in a row. The shorter students' average sleep, the higher their average BMI. Many studies since then have validated the conclusion that chronic sleep restriction is associated with weight gain and have expanded on this. For instance, studies have found an association between chronic sleep restriction and unhealthy food choices. When we are sleep restricted, we are more likely to make unhealthy food choices, especially for foods containing high fat, high salt, and high sugar. Most people can function okay after a day or two of missing just an hour or two of sleep. In other words, most people can function okay following acute sleep restriction. But by the third day, as this evolves into chronic sleep restriction, a very different picture emerges. Measures of physiological and manifest sleepiness show clear deficits, but interestingly, there is often no effect on introspective sleepiness. Remember that one? The psychological one? Most people think that they're adapting to getting less sleep, but more objective measures show a very different story. Numerous studies have shown that chronic sleep restriction negatively affects emotion, cognition, behavior, which means performance, right, in particular, and health, and that these deficits build with amassing sleep debt. Behavioral deficits, sometimes referred to as performance deficits, include those involving psychomotor tasks. The type of psychomotor tasks most affected are long, monotonous, externally paced, newly learned, those requiring memory, and those that do not involve feedback. What do you think is one crucial behavior that encompasses many of these characteristics? Driving. Driving after lacking 2 to 3 hours per night for 1 week is actually equivalent to driving drunk in both accuracy and reaction times. Many of the things people do to counteract sleepiness while driving turn out to be ineffective after only a few minutes. These futile maneuvers include taking a stretch break, opening a window for cold air, turning up the radio, and tightening the muscles. However, in situations when driving when sleepy is necessary, such as responding to a family emergency, there are two strategies. Well, they will not bring you up to par, will often at least help for a few hours. These are stopping to take a 20-minute nap and or stopping to ingest 200 milligrams of caffeine, equivalent to 2 cups of coffee. We're going to continue looking at chronic sleep restriction effects in our next segment.